Mind Walk! Thanks for joining us on the Mind Walk podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Sean, and this is Barney the Wonder Dog. Barney the Wonder Dog.
We're going to go for a walk and talk about some things, and we'd love for you to join us.
So subscribe to the Mind Walk podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube, or where you find all of your pod stuff. Follow us on social media at Mind Walk Pod.
Now, everyone is going to get one free Mind Walk a week, but because you want more Mind Walk, support us on Patreon. For $1.99 a month, you get absolutely nothing, but you get the satisfaction of supporting us. For $5, you can become a trail angel and get 3 Mind Walks on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And for $10 a month, you can get 5 Mind Walks a week. That's 7.5 hours of content Monday through Friday. Now, let's get into the Mind Walk!
Woo! I think you say mark before you do it so that it's not just a sound of a snap or a tree. You know, you find the thing and then you back up. Oh, yeah, he said mark. So that's the mark. They do some pretty smart things.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, you found it. You had better reception.
They do have socchetto also.
Okay, socket.
Yeah, consento.
But that's one of those words you said.
Word made in Japan from English, concentric plug.
Concentric. Okay, so there. It wasn't about consent, but it still was an English adopted word.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know if it was an English adopted word or not. I knew it was a foreign word.
Yeah.
I just knew that. I guess, or at least I won't say I knew, but my memory was that I looked it up at the time I learned it for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And that I learned that it wasn't consent; it was some other thing.
Concentric. So it's interesting, but like hearing that makes me go like, not that I could ever get by in Japan. But I could just throw a few O's after English words.
Oh, that would not work.
Socchetto?
You're thinking Spanish.
Well, definitely Spanish. Well, I mean...
Not that would necessarily work in Spanish either.
No,
but
you know, my Italian friends, when they go to Spain or Mexico, always do very well. Because it's...
I don't think your strategy would work all that well.
Well, I mean, it would get some traction on some things.
I disagree. I remain in disagreement, having had experience. Because it's not just at the end of the word. It happens throughout the entire word.
Sure. But I'm just saying, if I hear people, let's say from another language, trying to struggle through, you know, the whatever Spanish version of their word to try to anglify it, it definitely stretches me into position to try to figure out what they're talking about.
Well, I think it just helps to know a few rules about how those words are created in the other language. Mm-hmm. Simply saying that adding O to the end of things is not sufficient in Japanese to Japaneseify it. Sort of my point.
Uh-huh.
You're welcome to try.
I mean, I just, at this point, economically, I don't know when I'm ever going to be able to travel overseas. Oh, so, you know, our foreign policy and other foreign policies. There's no Americans leaving American Island. How you guys doing?
How do you think the fly that lives up here has a different life experience than the fly that lives in the city?
I mean, I think he's probably got more competition on some levels. Because I just don't think there's as much to eat. But I also suspect that the fly up here is even a different species.
And there's a little lizard.
Yeah. I think it's...
I'm going to see if I can't get a picture of this guy. He stopped right in front of me. Oh, he's gone. Oh, wait, no, there he is. Whew.
Oh. Okay, good. Want some water? Hey. Hey, Barney. Barney.
You're a real patriot. Red
Oh, yeah.
water bottle, blue shirt, stars on the bag.
Yeah. I'm definitely presenting as a fucking MAGA. Well, no, but you're trying to take that back.
Not make America great again.
No, but the red, white, and blue. Patriotism.
Oh yeah, sure. Why not?
It is very hard for me to be a patriot when patriotism feels like racism.
Well, I'm just completely, to me, it's a word that you can make mean whatever it means. So you can say, I'm patriotic for a non-racist America. Right?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You
for
just be
sure.
like, patriotism to me means defunding the police.
Yeah. Well,
you can
absolutely.
literally
I
just
agree
make
with
it
you.
anything.
I agree with you. I'm just saying, lately, it feels like...
Well, you mean like the last couple hundred years? Last 400 years?
I guess. But I'd even say, I'll just say when I was alive and Jimmy Carter was president, patriotism felt like a different thing.
Oh, sure. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it does change. I just, for me, it's partly a defense against, I don't know how successful it would be as a defense, but against people using it as a weapon to say, well, I'm patriotic, you're not sufficiently patriotic, so therefore we can punish you, we can imprison you, we can murder you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to develop a language of patriotism around
Resistance?
resistance in the America that I want, so it can't be, to try and reduce the ability of it to be weaponized against people who disagree with those who choose to identify with patriotism, right? Instead of just ceding that ground to them, which they could then use to conveniently deal with political prisoners, instead at least make it a term that's being fought about, so it's in contention.
Yeah. The problem with that is it's a brand.
Oh, of course it is.
And those that are concerned with perpetuating brands have basically stolen the power of it.
Well, but what I'm talking about is a form of resistance, though.
Oh yeah.
It's like, fuck it, no, we're going to redefine it. We're not going to let you have it.
So, if you started wearing a Proud Patriot shirt,
Yeah.
and MAGA hat people were like, "Yeah, brother,"
Yeah.
what would your response be?
Well, do I know? So you're assuming, okay, so are we assuming they're wearing a MAGA hat and
Yeah.
they know their political views or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. They're wearing their own.
I don't know. I might just say something like Medicare for all.
Okay.
Like,
Oddly enough, they'd probably agree with you.
at least 50% of Republicans do.
Yeah.
Majority of Americans do. As high as 80% of the Democratic Party does. But, to me, it's just, it's an excuse for that conversation to happen. It's like, oh, you've identified me as a patriot? Okay, well, let me tell you what I want. And then it scrambles the brain, right? It's like, okay, now you have to reckon with the fact that I am, on one hand, being a proud patriot, but on the other hand, saying I don't want to build a wall. Now they can decide if I'm being a fake or not. You know what it's kind of like, Sean? It's kind of like stealing a Twitter hashtag. Right?
Walk
you
the
take
walk,
the hashtag
baby.
and then you use it to spread your own message. I mean, that's what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
They're just wrapping their own message up in patriotism.
Well, patriotism is just a meme, though.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So, seize the memes of production.
Oh, there's still a little shade up here.
I mean, it's not really my mission to try to reclaim patriotism. I feel like if I were to decide, and if everyone who's not a MAGA were to collectively decide, okay, well, patriotism is this evil thing and it means all the things, it's just allowing them to define the terms. Why should we let them define the terms? And I mean, isn't that a giving of power?
Kind of, but I also think when somebody attempts to define the terms, at least a position has been established from which to, resist or move people away from, or that's why I feel like, yeah, it's powerful, but I think that it allows their position to be known, and then you can just be like, oh, I'm going to move you away from that, I'm going to move you away from that, I'm going to move you away from that. Having a little bit more of a fluid definition.
Well, that's what I mean. You can try and take the approach of, no, we're not asking you to get rid of your patriotism, we're just asking you to conceptualize it in a different way.
Yeah.
Right? I think that might be more successful than saying, because you call yourself a patriot, you're bad.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, but I guess also for me, like even just thinking of patriotism even as a kind of branding,
yeah,
right? That's where I'm resistant. Where I'm like, oh, I would rather not. It's like, to me, the idea of America and loving America is more complicated than what can be encompassed in the definition of patriotism.
Yeah, I disagree.
Because again, like
I don't think you even need to love America to be a patriot.
Sure.
You could be like you could love your neighborhood and your community.
Oh, sure, but we're talking about, I think, American patriotism at this moment.
Well, again, I just think it's just free to define however you want. That's just how I feel about it. That doesn't mean one is required to play the game. I just mean I don't care if patriotism is defined as blind love for one's country, because I think that's just the prevailing definition today. But then be subversive, change that definition. Don't accept that definition.
But I think that literally patriotism is a sense that our way is a better way.
I don't. I mean, if that is what it is, then I'm in favor of rejecting that definition and creating a new one.
Yeah. But I mean, let's. I don't want to get my phone out. But I think that's literally the belief that ours is a better way.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true of all patriots of all countries.
No, I'm just saying, I think the definition of the word.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out, but I'm sure it has many definitions anyway. Mm-hmm. But again, this is one of those weird cases where I'm surprised you're defending the word on its dictionary definition, whereas I'm arguing, well, it's fluid anyway, so why not make it what you want it to be?
Yeah, that's true. But I guess what I'm saying is part of why my resistance to it is that if by definition it means this thing, and we could try to attempt to change the definition, that's what it means to the patriots out there, right? And changing either what is, because it's a complicated thing. Like, you could change the definition of what patriotism means, or you can change the definition of what people should find patriotic, right? So these
to me, that's like the same thing, though.
No, meaning like, so these American patriots are like, well, it's because the American way is the way things should be done, right? Because that's where the patriotism is. But then we could be like, well, that we've created all these wars and we've destroyed the environment, and I would say, like, that to me feels not the way things should be done, and maybe we should define, kind of like, America's the leader in climate resistance or whatever, remediation, and that's what makes me a patriot. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, then that way it's like what people are patriotic about. If we have a stronger definition of what patriotism is, then what people are patriotic about can probably be. You can probably change that rather than trying to change the actual definition of the word. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think. It's a fair point. I think we're having a semantic difference.
Yeah, a little bit, but I think we're on the same page. So you see what I'm saying about this trail? So I saw these bike guys come up this way. So it goes all the way down there somewhere.
Well, right? It goes all along that ridge,
over there. And then that station, the third radio or fourth radio station down there's got to have a road because it's got, like, it's a major complex. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's probably a private road for most of it. And that feels like, God damn, there's so many trails here.
Yep. It's like opening up to the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to just, I would hike on these things all day.
And then the cemetery's right there. And then when you pointed at this place the other day, and you're like, was that where we were the other day? I was like, yeah. So we're pointing back over where we were watching.
Man, look how thick the smog is today. It's so gross.
It's capitalism's getting back into fucking motion, baby.
Yeah.
People are.
I mean, we could see the tips of those peaks over there. If there weren't all this smog, it would just be clear and you could just see the whole fucking thing.
Yeah. I mean,
it's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's just disgusting. I mean, the heat is also part of that, but ugh.
Yeah.
We breathe it.
Yeah. I mean, now I don't necessarily believe this, but in the Bible when they talk about Adam and Eve living to be like 800-900 years, I mean, yes, they probably had a different reckoning of time, but I also think, well, maybe if they lived in a world where they lived off of pure water, I know they're fictional characters, but, and then maybe there weren't any natural predators in the Garden of Eden, there was no smog, maybe a human body could last for 900 years.
Well, they weren't living in Eden for the... Oh, did they live in Eden for 900 years before they got kicked
They lived
out?
a long time. These were very long, all the early people in the Bible were very long-lived.
No, my question is, how long were Adam and Eve in the garden before they got kicked out?
Yeah, I don't know. But I just know they lived to
Before they got kicked out into Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And had to deal with the smog.
And they were like just fucking running around with fucking leaves over their fucking parts.
Well, if the point you're making is that access to clean air and water and food is going to make you a healthier, more long-lived person, I certainly agree with that.
Well, and I think that when you look at like people are able to live long times in these natural environments, they're able to, but then there's always like natural predation and disease that they're not able to control. So we're in this kind of arms race between our technology
and also physical traumas that then become problems.
Well,
Like broken arm.
I think, broken arm becomes a big deal. Also, bad dentistry shortens people's lives. That's probably the biggest one. Because if you can't chew your food.
And you see that shine, that little shiny light on top of the mountain over there in sort of the Griffith area? I wonder what that thing is.
I mean, I think that might be with the backside of the Hollywood sign. Oh, no, the backside of the Hollywood sign is that radio tower there.
Yeah. We're just seeing from tower to tower. We're communicating tower to tower.
And if we just had a zip line from here to there, we could just zip all the way across the valley.
Well, here's a hike idea. Hike from this tower to that tower.
Yeah.
Traverse the valley city in between.
Sure.
So, I want to schedule a day where we just where we get on these ridges. I really want to do it.
Yeah, I don't. Preferably, I'd rather not approach it from this angle.
Just because it's so much work just to get up here from here.
It's I'm just like burnt out at this point. But take a look at your map and see if there's a place to start. Because again, they must have started somewhere on their bikes. There must be an easy way. I mean, it feels like it's on the backside of this.
So what's your approach for doing something like a Mount Wilson or a
Baldy?
Mount Baldy?
I mean, that's like an all-day thing, right? And you pack a day pack, and you get up 4 a.m, and you maybe arrive at the hike at 5:30, and you have let's say a group of committed hikers, and you take, at least with Baldy, I'd say you have the first 3 hours of the hike is a pretty gradual slope. It's nothing like this. Then you have about 45 minutes of this kind of stuff. Then you get to the backbone trail, and that's great. That's just like going over like these kind of things for an hour and a half or so. And then you get to that part of fucking Baldy that's just flat uphill scrabble. And that could take you, depending on how much you've burnt out yourself, that could take 45 minutes to an hour and a half to get through that. Then you get to the top and you just chill out for an hour, eat lunch, really enjoy being on the top of the mountain.
Well, that's another thing that we could do on these hikes. Like, let's say I did want to continue along the ridges. We could bring our lunch and take a real proper rest up here for a while.
And I think also just like, if we're going to plan a big hike, I would love to do these hills, plan a big hike in these hills. They are just a little boring, because there's no shade covering, and it's all kind of like chaparral. It's fine. I don't mind it. But I just know my feeling is if we're going to do a kind of a more epic hike, let's put ourselves in a position to kind of like, do something that's like Holy Jim Falls or something that like at the end of it is just like some spectacular thing, Well,
I mean, I'm for all of it.
Yeah.
I just see it here, and I want to
explore
this ridge. I want to see the city from every angle that this ridge has to offer.
Yeah.
I want to explore this pocket, and I want to do it all, man.
Yeah.
But it's here. Yeah. Now that I've seen it, I'm kind of like, I want to do it a little bit.
I'd say just take a look at your map and see where there's some entry points,
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like even Wildwood itself is only, it's its own little park. Like it's just its own thing, and then this is all the Vista Link Trail, and it just happens to be, you can enter it through Wildwood. But yeah, I'd say like if you look up the Vista Link Trail and see, probably goes, I think it goes to Dante's Peak, and there's like 6 or 7. Glendale Peak is down there. Which I've done Glendale Peak, and I just can't remember how to get there. Somebody else drove. But I'm sure it'd be easy enough to look up.
But hey, we made it to the top.
We did it.
We made it.
And there's butterflies.
Now, it took us a little over an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I think if I were going by myself, I probably could have made it an hour and a half. I might not have stopped as many
much.
times.
Yeah.
But it's still...
But it's an hour and a half basically straight uphill. You only have like 2 flat spots.
Yeah. I don't know why I love this hike so much. I've talked before about how I want to do it once a week just to build up my endurance until I can just take it on, like,
Yeah.
no stopping. But today was a great day for the body. Success. Thank you for the success.
A win. We got to win on
Triumph!
We got to win on a Monday. I don't know why, but that always seems like the happiest song. That's why, in these joyous moments, it just comes to me. And I don't really know what it means or anything. I just see people happily dancing to it. It's better than the fucking Pharrell song, Happy. It's make you happy. It's like in this middle zone where Hava Nagila is just like a heaving, yeah. And people are kicking their legs and dancing shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, you take a guy like Pharrell Williams and the Happy song, and I mean, Happy is just such one of those, it's like a color. It's like this baseline human, I guess not baseline, but it's just a classic human feeling, and people want to be happy, right?
Yeah.
And so much of capitalism is also around happy.
Oh, yeah.
And then you search for happy in Google, and like Pharrell Williams, he's got that territory, right?
He's marked it, baby.
And if you can make your song be the song that's associated with happy, I mean, aren't you set for life at that point?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, though, this is
Because I'm angry.
Well, there's I think Henry Rollins is set for life.
Because I'm depressed.
Because he did, because I forget what the song is, but he's like, because I'm an asshole, or whatever it was. That was his solo song that broke big, and now he's an NPR. But yeah, I think it's like, if you territorialize, this is the problem I have with like certain brand names, right? Happy song, but like fucking Tinder.
Yeah.
Like, Tinder is a thing that we need when we're out camping.
Yeah.
We don't need it as an app on our phone to try to fuck people. They've just taken that name and it's like, no, this is our thing now.
Yeah. Or how about Apple?
Yeah, fuck Apple.
Or Amazon.
Amazon, yeah.
The Amazon Fire.
Yeah.
I tried to search for Amazon Fire when the Amazon was on fire, and I found a fucking product.
I wonder if they did that on purpose, knowing that the Amazon was going to be on fire a lot. So they're like, let's just make our next product called the Amazon Fire to get the first 10,000. Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine they had to have known that would come up.
But also,
I mean, Amazon is a fucking forest, so it's like they're calling their product the Forest Fire.
Yeah.
The Forest Fire!
The Forest Fire. And Google is the biggest number, used to be the biggest number. I mean, it was spelled differently. But, they were like, well, we like this. We're nerds. We like this idea of this big number. So we're going to name our company Google. And
It
I'm
also
sure
is a really easy... I feel like LE is a very common word ending, and also GOOG.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just super easy to remember and sort of...
And I wonder if the first Google building was called the Googleplex. Because a Googleplex is a Google's worth of Googles, I guess.
Well,
Numerically.
the original Apple building was called the Applesauce.
God, fucking hate corporations. I hate them. What
No,
are
I'm
they?
sorry, it was called the Orchard.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm sorry, it was called
The core. Apple core.
well, the Apple Core Processing.
Yeah.
The seed.
But Yahoo, at least that feels like it's its own word, you know?
Well, Yahoo's an exclamation.
Exclamation, yeah. But
It's also the
a
Yahoos of
yoke.
Gulliver's Travels.
Yeah, a yokel.
Well, in the Gulliver's Travels, it was more than a mere yokel. But the Yahoo was really just a human in Gulliver's Travels, stripped of all of its clothing and trappings. But yeah, as Gulliver looked at the Yahoo and was disgusted by them, they were, of course, exhibiting just classic human behaviors.
So Gulliver's the bad guy?
Well, Gulliver's the Yahoo. The horse people look at Gulliver and are like, "You're a Yahoo." He's like, "I'm not a Yahoo." But then he lusts for the diamonds. Yeah, there's a whole scene where all the Yahoo are there's this wall by the sea, a rock wall by the sea, and they're just digging into this rock, and the horses are like, "Yeah, they just come here and all day they just chip away at this rock to get these like shiny stones, and they just do it for hours and hours on end for no reason, and they just try and find the biggest one, and they fight over them, and it's just like how they spend all their time." And Gulliver's like, "Well, clearly they've got some sort of primitive fascination with." And then he goes and like gets a better look at the stone. It's like, holy fuck, these are like gigantic ass diamonds. And then like in the middle of the night, he finds himself like running out to the wall. And he's like hacking away at the rocks, and then like suddenly the horse is like there watching him. It's like, no, you don't understand. I could, Ted Danson throwing diamonds into the ocean. "Here's my beautiful house." Throws it into the.
Is this from
and
the
here's
movie?
my fancy clothes. He throws the diamond into the ocean.
This is from the movie?
Yeah, and the
Okay.
horse is. Well, I mean, but it happens
It's
in the book.
not in the book. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've read the book.
And then the horse is like, they exile Gulliver, but then after he's exiled, they come and like, "You are more than Yahoo." He's like, "Oh, the horse has told me I'm slightly more than Yahoo." Yahoo!
It's Jack Black is Gulliver, right?
Oh, I'm talking about the Ted Danson made-for-TV.
Oh, shit, I've never
Gulliver's
seen that
Travels.
one.
I'm not talking about the bullshit Jack Black
Okay,
version.
that's
I'm
why I was
talking
like-
about the Ted Danson.
I don't know where I would find what that
two-parter
was.
made-for-TV.
On ABC.
Maureen Steenburgen as his wife.
Oh, shit. Oh,
That's
Steve
the
Burgess.
best Gulliver's Travels there is.
I mean, I'll see if I can find it. It's got to be on Amazon.
Look,
it's
not
got to
perfect.
be in the Amazon,
I think
right?
you can find it on YouTube for free.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but it does go through all of his canonical adventures.
No good.
Nothing is left out. And there's some cheesy parts. There's some real cheese in there, but you know what? The satire is on point.
Yeah, but the original Swift novel is pretty corny.
Well, see, the original Swift novel is just Gulliver going around traveling and then eventually coming back.
Yeah.
This one has a framing device where Gulliver has returned.
He's telling the story.
He's telling the story, and they're like, "You're crazy, you're mad," and he's in like a madhouse because they don't believe him. And there's like this drama where his wife is like not yet remarried, but is like about the guy is like about to. He's like he's never coming back, and then boom, he shows up, and there's like this, and so he's trying to prove that Gulliver is crazy so he can get with his wife, and the kid is involved. So there's like all this family drama that's not really necessary. But the travels themselves are fucking awesome, and also there's a little bit of courtroom drama in there that's good.
Well, it sounds like they mixed. They did the Odyssey. They mashed the Odyssey with.
Well, I mean,
right, he's Telemachus, right?
Yeah. Well,
right.
Well, you mean he's Odysseus?
Odysseus
Telemachus is the son.
Yeah. No, that's right. He's Odysseus coming back, and Mom's all trying to get with the suitors.
Yeah.
Yep.
We wrote a fucking paper, or at least a short essay, in high school on the Odyssey, on was Penelope faithful, right? Or was she, what clues do we have to see that she was or wasn't?
She was fucking, for sure.
That was one position.
Yeah.
The other position was, she was using the
yeah.
loom and undoing the loom.
Oh, yeah.
So,
But I think that she was still getting her needs met.
well, that's the debate. And then it's like, okay, prove your point using things in the text, right? Try and find hints in the poem that suggest one way or the other, right? I mean, if you're asking me, and if we're pretending that that's a true story of a thing that happened, I'd be like, well, sure she was.
Yeah.
But then the question is, okay, now justify it with the text, see where you can find evidence of it in the text. And that's sort of where the exercise was.
Yeah. I forget what I wrote about when I did the...
But I love the Odyssey. That was a freshman year high school. Mm-hmm. I'm big into it. I'm big into the epic storytelling. I was a big fan. Actually read it.
Oh, yeah, I read it. We read it...
And I read the Iliad in college.
Yeah, I've read the Iliad too. But we read it... we did a compare and contrast between Odyssey and Ulysses, the Joyce novel.
I need to read that, for sure.
It's a dense one. I'm trying to listen to a portrait of an artist as a young man right now. I mean, I got caught in the peripheral last night, but I've got it in my phone to listen to.
I mean, the Odyssey's just got it all. It's got all the tropes. Mm-hmm. Even, you see in so many movies now, it's like you start off with the crew, and then they get whittled down until eventually they're all gone. It's just the hero. Mm-hmm. That happens.
Also, I didn't like the Iliad very much compared to the Odyssey. Mm. But the Iliad's a lot older, right?
I don't remember.
No.
Maybe so.
Yeah, the Odyssey's a good jam. Cersei, she's awesome. She's like, just fucking chill here, bro. Don't fucking leave the island.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's fuck. I'm like, yeah. It's like
it's like, what a trial, right? This is a trial of Odysseus.
I got this fucking witch pussy, or I'm gonna go home and have to be a father.
Well, but that's kind of that's the drama, right?
Well, that's the drama, but also that's the story that the Greeks wanted. That's like, be like this guy. This is how we stabilize our culture. Is like, stick with your family.
And there was, the witch who turned the crew into pigs. That I didn't like. She was the one I liked the least. 'Cause I'm thinking, if you're out at sea, and someone is just like, here, have a bounty of food, wouldn't you be like, fuck yeah, thank you. Yes, I'll try and enjoy this food. But I guess they got a little too greedy.
Oh, sure. But if you think about it, the Greeks had a somewhat abstemious culture. That's what these messages were.
Hospitality. Be a good guest, be a good host. Where do you draw the line? A lot of it was about where you draw the line on that.
Yep.
When is who at fault? All I know is there were a lot of descriptions of like smoked meats, and I was like, man, that sounds good.
And a lot of wine. They were like, but
it made me want some fucking
Greek wine,
dirty ass Greek wine.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is where we all learned the lesson that the reason they had wine and the reason they put wine in their water is because they couldn't drink their water because it wasn't potable enough. So they had to fucking kill whatever was in there. So everybody was basically drunk all the time because they didn't have good water to drink.
Speaking of which, I spiked my water with gin today.
Nice. Give it a little. I mean, it's weird, but I think like if you were to put let's say half a. Did you really?
No.
Okay. But if you were to put say a half a shot in a quart of water, I'm sure it would have a little bit of a beneficial effect. Like it would be somewhat antiseptic. It'd give a little bit of a flavor to it. It would make you feel like. I don't know. I think there would be some kind of.
I mean, I don't know if it would be beneficial in terms of hydration, but certainly it might have some antiseptic effect.
Yeah,
sure.
but what I'm also saying is maybe it does allow you to hydrate better because of some property of the alcohol.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or it could be worse.
Yeah. Well, you're literally getting a half an ounce less of water in your bottle.
I mean, here's the thing. It might be better for some things. It would probably add some pluses in one column and some minuses in another.
Yeah.
Right here. Come on up here, Sean. Let's...
Oh, you want to do a picture?
Yeah, of course. We made it. We made it.
Come here, bud. Oi. You want to do it with the view behind us?
Yeah. I think so. And so you can see the path in the middle there.
Oh, yeah.
Bernie.
Oh, yes. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Let me try to get the moisture out of my mouth, bud.
All right, I'm sure we got one. We got it. We got it. We got it. Hey, Sean, humor me and do a mark here
Oh, okay.
as we begin our descent. The descent into madness.
Oh, no, that was an ascent into madness.
All right, Barney.
You ready to shuffle off this mortal coil?
Oh, hey, I'm going to get you for one more.
Huh?
One more. Sorry. One more.
Okay.
I'm going to get the antenna in the background.
Come here, bud. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that. Coming out of our hats like that. Look at this double circle hat. Look how ridiculous.
Yeah, totally. It's the infinity symbol. Infinity and beyond. Oh. Oh. You right, bud? Come on. He'll catch up with us. Just want to get some shade. It's all right. He's coming. You see him? He's right there. I know he's right there, Barney.
Sean,
Yes.
a bro comedy called The Suitors.
Right? They're all trying to fucking get in on the fucking king's wife while he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you run it like a fucking dating reality show, but it's in ancient Greece. You know? I mean, yeah, you could do the I mean, if you feel it's scalable, you could either do it like let's say if you were to do the whole movie of the Odyssey, right? Just the section when it's back at the island is like a reality show. She's in a reality show where they're trying to date her, you know? Like anytime you cut back to the island, it's like, or cut back to Greece or Crete or wherever it was.
I don't know. I want to do it where there's like 3 suitors, okay? Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say they're good guys, but they're like, compared to the rest of the suitors that are around them who are just like violent, degenerate, chauvinistic assholes, like these 3 suitors, not saying they're examples to, shining examples to humanity, but they have good intentions, let's say. Mm-hmm. And they're like trying their best, and then they just keep getting rebuffed. So like your sympathies start to go with them. And then, you know, they think that they're just trying, in a misguided way, they think they're trying to make a better life for Penelope, right? And themselves. But then at the end, Odysseus just shows up, and he's sort of like the ultimate bro. He's just totally aggro and just murders the fuck out of them. You know? Like, just as they were about to get their victory and I don't know, fulfill this. I don't know which one would, or it seems like they're going to succeed and you're rooting for them, kind of like a Roadrunner Coyote thing.
Yeah.
It looks like they're about to succeed, and then Odysseus just comes and is this mindless killing machine from their perspective, and just with the bow and is just taking them out.
That's interesting. I mean, it's funny because I would still want Odysseus to be like he's just smoother than even all of them.
Yeah, I'm going to play it the other way.
Okay.
I want to play it where, like, the suitors are these aggressive assholes, and then they're like, we're better than them. And then Odysseus shows up, and he's just even more brutish than all of the other ones, and that's why he ultimately wins, because he can slaughter them all.
Which is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
because Odysseus is normally portrayed as being, the clever, right?
Yeah.
And I just thought, just put it, from the standpoint of, the rebels with their dorky helmets, and then Darth Vader shows up and just murders them all, I mean, they've been working on this Penelope project for years and years and years, and then Odysseus just shows up. It's like, no, my woman. Kill, 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 kill.
So he's a Chad.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like this would resonate with today's youth.
Yeah. It's tough, though, because I also feel like...
I mean, they're all assholes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. I feel like suitors are Chads, too.
Well, yes. That's why I made clear to say that I wouldn't want to make them to be shining examples of... But more just they're the ones who you're in the position narratively to feel sympathy for. And they're ultimately out-chatted by all the other ones.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like...
and Odysseus could be painted as like... Or in their minds, they could be like, we'll try and be like Odysseus, who's supposed to be this wise and charming guy. Not like these Chads that are... Not like these other suitor Chads, right? They're trying to... But then Odysseus comes and he's just the worst Chad of them all.
King Chad.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, really, if you ever... Well, whatever. We talk a big game about these awesome things about Greek culture, but it's pretty chauvinistic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like the original Chad breeding ground.
We did bring that hypocrisy up when we were studying that why is there all this focus on whether or not Penelope was being faithful? Like, that's her arc, where meanwhile Odysseus is fucking goddesses and demigods and nymphs on islands.
Yeah.
Right? Where's his charge?
Yeah, well, but also, like...
To be faithful.
It's also the fact that they're forcing us to read these in, like, high school and college.
Yeah.
Kind of just perpetuates that same fucking misogynistic...
Yeah.
Or, you know...
During our sexual awakenings.
Yeah. And, you know, the girls in the class are reading it, and, you know, who knows how much they're internalizing that fucking...
Yeah, for sure.
That narrative.
I mean, you can try to teach around it, which is good.
Yeah. But
teach it as a hypocrisy, and that's good. But nevertheless, you know, that's just a teaching. You know, if you're reading the story, story is going to have the power, right?
Oh, yeah. And I would say, like, the primrose path that is laid out for a lot of young ladies about kind of virginity and being a princess is that the reward is that the Chad is going to take care of you for the rest of your life. That's your reward.
And mop up all those filthy suitors that are just annoyingly vying for your attention, right?
Yeah, you keep your legs closed, and the fucking King Chad will fucking, you know, make it so you never have to fucking deal with the fucking,
the riffraff.
Yeah, I was trying to kind of the lesser Chads. What are you doing, Barney? You crazy digging dog.
Is Barney trying to dig himself a hole so he can have shade?
Maybe, but he also may be chasing after a lizard. Oh yeah, so this was this interesting thing watching him hunt the ducks. I told you they would do this thing where they would like just literally duck under the water. And I think that's where they get their name, or that's where that word comes from.
What, they're called ducks because they duck under the water?
Yeah, they have this move where they basically just duck. Yeah. And then he's like looking around like, where the fuck did that duck go? And then it changes direction. Like if it's going this way, it ducks and then it comes out over here. Mm-hmm. And it's a great tactic because then Barney is looking one way and the duck has decided to go another way. And then they would do this thing where they would just basically kind of like come out where they were just on the surface of the water looking like a little log. They wouldn't move. They just go with the flow of the river.
Right.
So Barney
looks like an object.
Yeah, so Barney couldn't tell that it was really a duck. But yeah, so he was just like his joy of like he comes up on the duck and then it like goes under the water and then he's just got that confused like where's it coming up look, you know. It was really amazing. But yeah, he could be trying to get shade or he could be trying to get a lizard.
So I feel like we started coming up, although we have a hiker, even as I say this, we've got a hiker coming up now. But I was going to say, we had more people coming down as we were coming up.
Yeah.
Specifically because they were finishing the hike, having started even earlier to beat the heat.
Yeah. Well, it's not so bad right now.
No, it's not.
Not so bad. I don't know if as we get lower, or maybe I'm just acclimated to it. The thing is, though, at a certain point, there's a certain temperature at which I just don't think it's possible for me to get acclimated to.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Well, but it's also, we did start earlier. It's having the extra water. It's having the hat. It's having
determination.
All these things.
Yeah.
All these things are working in our favor. The experience.
So we've got 2 hikes here. We've got 2 possible mind walks here.
Oh, for sure.
So do we want to make it whatever today and tomorrow? And then maybe go out for a hike tomorrow or not, or...
I don't know. I feel like I want to talk about that kind of stuff later.
Okay, great.
All good questions.
Doesn't need to be...
But I'd rather save it for after...
Okay, great.
After the mind walk.
How are you? Nice.
It's a great brim you've got.
Oh, thanks.
But yeah, I think I've discovered what I mean. Barney likes going out with us on the hikes for sure.
Yep.
But I just discovered where Barney's passions lie. It's
and where is that?
Chasing birds on the river.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Just hammering it. He also, there was a thing happened because we were kind of going up, and you know, it's all it's various levels of remediation. But there's a part where it was a little mossier and greener, and he's chasing some birds, and then there was just some deep part, and he just fucking went under and like came out of it all like, oh, I'm covered in water. Of course, it scared me, and I was like, oh shit! But then he pulled himself out right away. But in that moment, I was just like, fucking silly dog.
Well, Barney can be like the duck hunts dog.
Yeah.
I think it's a good theory of Barney. I mean, remember when we started going on walks and we were walking around Lake Balboa and it was like, oh, he's chasing after the birds again.
Yeah.
Barney wants to chase them birds near the water.
Yeah. And
sounds like a great life to me.
Yeah, and whatever breeds he was, maybe that was their job. You know, maybe he was a waterfowl hunting in his ancestry.
My knees are starting to whine. All right, I'd like to take a stop here for a sec.
Oh, sure.
So I'm seeing my folks tonight.
Nice.
We're going to celebrate their 44th anniversary, which was last week, but whatever, we'll celebrate it now.
Mm-hmm. Just at the house?
At their house.
Yeah.
Do a little barbecue.
Nice. When are you heading over there?
I'm supposed to be there at 5:30. I think I'm going to do a Greenland run before that, specifically because I said I would make a salad, so I'm going to pick up my cabbage.
I mean, I have a head of purple cabbage that I can give you.
Yeah, I
got a trip.
No, I think I got
to.
I think I got to buy my own cabbage.
Okay.
I decided to check out the Trader Joe's that's near me.
Oh yeah.
Because I needed to get some for my salads, right? I was like, okay, I'll see how much a head of cabbage is here. They don't have a head of cabbage at Trader Joe's. They only have it pre-shredded and sealed in those fucking plastic bags for like $1.99 a pack, or $1.69 a pack. And I can get a whole head of cabbage for the same price, and I don't have to have the plastic waste at Greenland. So it's no substitute. It's just no substitute.
Well, actually, it's probably cheaper. I mean, you're probably getting more cabbage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting more, and I don't have to deal with the plastic packaging either. It's better all around.
You okay, bud? You okay, buddy?
When I leave Greenland, no matter how much food I'm buying, it always feels like a real deal.
Well, it's so funny. Yeah, I got to go to Super King today. There's just certain Middle Eastern things I want to get. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, I think they go the same way.
The Cyclops.
Oh yeah, I went to go get ice cream with Tanner the other day. I think I might have mentioned this. There was a Cyclops out on Larchmont.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, just a guy who lost his eye. But you know, we don't live in a culture where there's very many, you know, physical deformities or injuries just out on display.
Well, we got that one Republican congressman, don't we? I think he's a congressman.
Who's the
I don't
Cyclops?
think he's a senator, but I could be wrong. Like Crenshaw or something?
Sure. Well,
Eye patch dude.
Yeah. Well, there's always Tammy Duckworth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like.
But yeah, we see less of them. And also, we see less dwarfism.
Yep.
Apparently, the Wizard of Oz, it was a great gathering of dwarfs.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them, some of them might still be alive.
I think the last one just died.
One of the Lollipop Guild.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, the Lullaby League. Whichever one.
Lollipop Guild.
Lollipop Guild. And I guess because of, I don't know what, genetic testing or abortions or some combination of a number of things, there's less of them around now.
Well, my favorite movie is dwarf-centric.
Time Bandits?
Time Bandits. I mean, Kenny Baker, R2-D2's in that movie.
Oh, Time Bandits is a great movie.
Yeah.
And the villain is, really it's about the villain to me.
Yeah, he's a good villain.
There's a lot of comedy around that villain.
I mean, he's basically the villain of capitalism.
Isn't Robin Hood in that movie?
Played by John Cleese.
Yeah, he's kind of an asshole, though, right?
Oh yeah. Well, he seems like he's this privileged, like he's like the way they played him, the way they satirized Robin Hood is like, oh, well, we're robbing you, but we're going to give it to the poor people. Like, it's like, and I think, and to me, like, that was such a lesson in the idea that the person deciding how to redistribute the wealth is still, there's still something suspect about that guy.
Yeah, well, I think, if I remember correctly, he was super condescending to the poor.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I think wasn't there, like, a camp or, like, some kind of food bank system set up where, like, everyone was getting some slop?
Yeah, but actually everybody was getting a piece of the treasure.
Okay.
That they had stolen from the Time Bandits. And there was, his assistant had to punch everybody that got a piece of the loot.
Yeah, what was with that?
I think what it is like they're still going to extract a price. Uh-huh. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can get your ancient Greek plate that we stole, but you're also gonna there's still a price. There's still some hook connected to it.
Well, they're still ultimately bending the knee to their monopoly on the legitimate use of force.
Yeah. And he says, is that absolutely necessary? Oh, all right, it is. He says it is. Which also, I feel like it's a commentary on the police state. The poor can get something, but they got to get the shit beat out of them on the way to getting their stuff. Terry's my guy. If I could make anything that approaches his genius, I would be happy.
Well, I always loved the Monty Python animations. In many ways, they were my favorite part of the flying circus. And then I have a friend in college who, he was a big Monty Python fan as well. And he was like, I never cared for the animations much. What? How could you not like the absurdity of the animations?
I mean, my favorite Python is Eric Idle. But Terry Gilliam's my favorite director. But also,
Terry Gilliam was a Python, but I know what you're trying to say.
But Terry was the only American too, and I wonder if this was the British way of ghettoizing his contribution to the. You could make the animations, Terry. I'm just kidding.
Well, it's what he did.
Yeah.
Well, there's a good new-ish documentary on the pythons, like a 6-parter on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Eric was the most staunch advocate for bringing Terry on board.
Yeah. And
as he put it, he was like, I wasn't sure why, but I saw him coming in this like big fur coat thing. I'm just like, we need this guy. We need this. Whatever energy, whatever perspective this is, we need it.
Yeah.
And so it was.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I really think, obviously the animations are pretty important. And you see...
they're extremely important.
And you see Terry in the background in some of the more famous sketches. He's definitely one of the brain damaged doctors.
And he's one of the Spanish Inquisition.
He's one of the Spanish Inquisition. He's there. He's filling it out. But he is, he's a real artist. Not that the rest of them aren't, but he lived in such a space of kind of magic and wonder. It's only now, later, as he's kind of like come through his stuff, that he can look back on it and kind of see how truly mad he was, So I think this is the fork. And I'm only interested in going down this way to see what the difference is.
No, I did. We did do it last time.
We did this one.
I believe so.
Okay.
I mean, we can do it again. I don't mind.
No, I'm all right.
I'm really pretty indifferent.
No, because maybe
the way up, I want it to be consistent for whatever reason, but the way down, we can do however you like.
Well, there's that little, the break area there, the little flat area, which we can get to from after that next.
Wait, no, you know what? I think we tried this way and it didn't work.
It didn't go
I remember
anywhere?
doubling back like this and like doing this hard U-turn, and I think it didn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't go anywhere or something, right?
Or it goes off into some other land.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Because that should be the back end of the hike, that little area there. But I'll look back once I get down there and see where it goes. Yeah. Sometimes I can't watch Brazil because it bums me out too much. But it's still a beautiful movie. I mean,
I don't know if I've seen Brazil all the way through. I know, doesn't he get like consumed by media at the end or something? Gets like wrapped up in all these newspapers.
Yeah, that's one little scene. It's kind of garbage though, but yeah, it's newspapers. There's 3 different cuts of it. There's the European cut, there's the American cut, and there's the cut that the fucking...
the censors cut?
Well, or the... I can't remember his name. The original producer on it, the studio guy, did to give the movie a happy ending. And in a weird way, because if you watch the other 2 versions, that's the most dystopic one.
Well, sort of like the happy ending of 1984.
Yeah. Exactly. Like he's completely lost his mind. I mean, he does lose his mind, but in the way Terry originally did it is you're still questioning whether he gets rescued by his girlfriend or not. Mm-hmm. Where in this mutilated ending, you're like, oh, the guy lost his mind. There's no way he could have escaped the way they portrayed it. Just like, oh.
So it must be a fantasy?
Yeah, exactly. And just the editorial choices had no, like, art to them. But the European version is my very favorite one because it has a scene. There's 2 scenes that are just fantastic that were cut out of the American version, and one of them is he's in like this kind of like suit. They put him in it's like a Hannibal Lecter kind of thing where they just have put him in this bag, this suit, and they can open up the face part to talk to him, and he's being hung up in almost like a dry cleaner kind of chain kind of thing, and he's going through his various prosecutors and the district attorneys, and they're just moving him in his little suit through the thing, and they just open up the face mask on it, and every time they give him a little receipt that's also the price he has to pay for having interacted with them. And it is such a brilliant piece of satire that I'm like, oh yeah, I guess Americans are not going to necessarily understand it. And then there's a scene where he uses some light, those light blocks, those glass blocks that they build some buildings out of. And the scene is only lit from the source on the other side of the light blocks, and it's basically the rich guy confessing to Tuttle or Buttle, one of the two. No, it's to our main character. It's neither of those. That he's like, I don't need to do this. It's just like I'm so trapped in this world of my own making. I don't know how to escape it. So I'm basically kind of sabotaging it myself to try to get out. And then he dies a couple scenes later. But it's like a weird suicide moment. But yeah.
So Barney rushes ahead and finds Shade.
Oh yeah, he's good.
I feel like I'm kind of in a weird cartoon where I'm walking, and then I look to the left and it's like, oh, there's Barney. And then I'm walking, and then I look to the left, oh, there's Barney. He just keeps showing up, this weird ghost thing.
Well, it's also, to me, like that also feels like something I'd experienced in a psychedelic journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, shit, there's that thing. It's right
or
there.
Like a recurring shopkeeper in a video game that just shows up every once in a while.
Yep.
You don't know how they got there, how they transported themselves, but there they are again, somehow.
Did you see Zero?
Or just a scrolling, an infinite scroll in a cartoon where you look in the background and it's just the same images repeating over and over again, which Ren and Stimpy made fun of to great effect.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's a hallmark of poorly done, or at least cheaply done cartoons. The repeated background scroll, which of course comes from animation being done on a ring.
Oh, yeah.
A circle or a cylinder that would have an image on it, and you just rotate it and it goes around in a circle.
Yeah, a zoetrope.
And then records are circles, and then wax cylinders are circles.
And the Hindus would tell us that time is a circle.
And cassette tapes are circles. And the planets orbit in, well, not circles, but ellipses. But yeah, it seems that ultimately concentric circles are the, well, I don't know. Now I don't know about the digital technologies of today and the solid state drives and how they differ, but for a long time it seemed like concentric circles was the most dense way to store data, didn't it?
Sure. I also think that the circle, or the perfect circle, is such a profound shape that I think that engineering wise, when you're able to create a circle, you can leverage a lot of engineering principles off of that. And of course the concentric circles.
Well, it also allows you to sort of move in, not a straight line, but it allows you to move smoothly for a long period of time without any hard turns.
Mm-hmm.
If you were storing data on the square, you'd have to make these hard turns. But with the circle, you can just kind of keep gliding around. And that's why wheels work.
It's but also like, now the way that you described it, a fucking record is a labyrinth.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Speaking of Monty Python again, I believe they had a record that had a side B and a side C because there were two different sets of grooves on the B side.
Yes.
And depending on where exactly you dropped the needle, it would lay into one set of grooves as opposed to the other.
Yep.
And so people who were unaware of this, they'd play the B side and sometimes they'd get one thing and sometimes they'd get the other thing and have no idea why or what was going on.
I think that was their first album.
I mean, I love that idea of using the form of the media to fuck with the media.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
There's
they had
a
like built-in
great
record
episode-
skips, right?
There's a great episode of Radio Lab called Loops. And I hear it a lot for whatever reason. It comes back a lot. Yeah, I don't know where that trail goes.
You could check it out. You could check it out next time.
Yeah.
We just don't have to go up the mountain. We can just go and see that thing, see where it goes.
But
Well, I think that the equivalent of the building the sound of a record skip into the record, like you can do the equivalent of that on a YouTube video by putting like a loading screen in the video.
oh, sure, for sure.
I don't think it's as satisfying as there's something very satisfying about a skipping record, I think.
Yeah, because because it's mechanical, not digital. It's analog. I mean, there's a
Well, and it's creating a loop, literally.
yeah.
I want to rap over record skips. I want to build a project where you just play records until you find a skip, and you're like, that's my loop. You record that, and then you just give it to some rappers and be like, rap over this. Whatever it is.
There's a video. I think it's a Linkin Park song for one of the Transformers movies, and they're using footage from the Transformers, and the song's over it. But the effect that's in it is this kind of smeary digital thing.
Are you talking about one of the recent Transformers or one of the animated ones?
One of the Transformer movies, and it's got this kind of like digital smearing effect. And it's a thing that that you experience when you're in post-production, when there's some kind of like when the computer is overclocked and it's attempting to render a special effect, and sometimes it will do this bad effect. But then whoever the director of the video was like, oh, I just want that to be the video.
Sure.
Yeah. And I appreciated that aspect of it because I was like, oh, he took the mistake and made it art. And I like glitch art a little bit. I think I have a lot of friends who make glitch art. It's definitely its own, it's kind of along the lines of YouTube poop and all that. There is something interesting in the mistakes, but because we're in a digital world now, it's like, it just feels so fucking ubiquitous. It just feels like mistakes are so easy.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't really classify that as a mistake. Just for the fun of playing a linguistic game. Because it's not like someone it wasn't like it was human error that did it.
Yeah.
It was just a byproduct of the inability of the computer to do the thing it was supposed to do, or... So, I might categorize it slightly differently. And we're almost at the plateau. I feel like we talked about Terry Gilliam the last time we were walking down here.
There must be something about this landscape that is reminiscent of
We
Terry.
were definitely talking about Adult Swim, and that's obviously very Terry Gilliam adjacent.
Oh yeah. I feel like if you went into a meeting there and just dropped Terry Gilliam's name, it would definitely they would open up to you. Are you gonna figure this out, buddy? Whew. Come on.
Shoulder's bugging.
What happened?
No, nothing, just maybe slept on it funny, or maybe spent too much time sitting on the couch. If I spend even more than an hour on that couch, man, it's not good for my back.
That's a good reminder.
It's like I need to be sitting up straight all the time. All that slouching, it's no good.
Come on, bud.
I mean, it feels comfy for a while, but ultimately it just fucks up my back. It also doesn't help that the couch has become less firm over the years.
Well, go get a board and stick it under the... That's what us poor people do.
Yeah, I think that's what I could use. Soft seating. I am against soft seating.
Well, just imagine, even after 200 years ago, I mean, chairs were around, but most people just sat on the goddamn ground.
Or a log or a rock.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's weird. It's like, I just had this idea that, like, people talk about, oh, life was hard, right? You had to shit in a chamber pot and, you know, maybe there wasn't as much potable water. But the truth is, if you were just a tough person, a tough peasant type, sleeping on a haystack, probably not that bad. You know? You're probably, you know, like we were probably a lot kind of like just acclimated to the level of discomfort.
Yeah. I'm sure.
And at some point of human evolution, we were just like dogs just laying curled up on the floor. And dogs are just fine.
Well, because you can have a house that has a central kitchen or a central cooking pot, but it serves also as your fire in the winter.
Yeah.
And you probably gather around with your family, you cook up some food, you eat, you talk, and then you just kind of lay down and go to bed when you feel like it.
Yeah. Everybody in the same room, or sometimes if you had a bed, everybody in the same bed.
Yeah, but look at the futon, though, and I don't mean the pull-away mattress. I mean, just sleep on the floor, just with a little bit of soft on the floor. But,
Yeah.
I mean, blankets have been around forever. Just remember that.
I mean, I was definitely researching wanting to do a Japanese-style bed a couple years ago. And I was like, oh, this is what I want. But then I realized, like, oh, well, if I'm trying to, because I had a bed bug problem, I think Japanese-style bed, not so good to prevent bed bugs.
I mean, I've thought about it. I slept that way when I lived there. And definitely sleeping on the floor, considering it's a firm surface, is better for my back. I thought it might be a little harder to get laid in, though. But maybe not. Maybe the contrary. Maybe it's exotic and interesting. But ultimately, why should I fucking worry about the times
The few
where
times
I'm going to be in that little decision moment, and instead, it's my bed, man. Sleep to my comfort.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll get rid of my bed frame and my mattress and just go futon.
Yeah. Well, if you think it's going to be better for your back, I would say 100%. And as a person,
I mean, you can get a firm mattress. It just seems like a long way to go to get off the floor just to have a firm mattress.
Yeah. Also, as a person who likes fucking in a lot of different environments.
Right, yeah. Who needs the bed anyway?
No, the hard surface is actually better in the long run.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
The soft one, you can't get any traction.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, if you want to push off of something, you can't push off of a soft surface. You won't get anywhere.
Well, and you can sometimes use the springiness to your advantage.
Well, springiness is different from straight up softness.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, like, let's say if you have soft and springy, then they kind of work in against each other.
Yeah, for sure. The only springiness I need is in my firm buttocks and just my tight muscles. That's my springiness. And my tendons that are just ready, boom, pop off.
Yeah, and
I definitely like how exercise and fitness helps me feel springy.
sure.
I can rebound, I can bounce off the walls. We got a mark. We got a mark.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think it's better. The best sex I've had. Well, I've had some good sex in bed, but
In bed.
But realistically, I think the best sex has always taken place elsewhere.
Not bed.
Not bed. Good sex there for sure. But I'd also say, like, my favorite position is standing on the bed while the other person's on the bed.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because,
King of the bed.
yeah, it's just more like, Mark. More like, talk about the traction thing. They're relaxed. I'm driving, as it were. It's just the right height. And then I'd say like I also prefer the floor or the couch than just like regular on the bed. I mean, to me, the couch is the best. It's just got so many different features.
Well, that's like Real Rich's fuck your couches bit.
So who did you guys fuck your couch on the most recent episode?
Was it a Diamond and Silk?
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I provided some backup vocals. I definitely was going in and out of performance, artist mode, and let's talk passionately about political stuff mode. I'm in that phase of the hike where I can't pronounce words anymore.
Beat down, brother.
I think I said passionately.
I mean, passionately is not quite passionately. It's close, though.
My passiolet. Well, where do you think my preferred sex place is?
I mean, it sounds like your bed. But, you know, you got the whole apartment to yourself. You could be having sex in the living room if you want.
So you say it sounds like my bed. What have I said to convince you of that?
Oh, just, you know, because you said you went and got a bed with the hopes of having sex in it.
Okay.
That's
But
all.
then,
That's the only clue I have.
Have I not been talking about how maybe I want to turn my bed into the floor?
Oh, shit. Floor sex, huh? Nice.
It's just so stupid. It feels like a youthful, stupid thing to do. I'm going to make my sleeping quarters, I'm going to design my sleeping quarters in a way so that when I'm bringing a partner into the space, there will be less resistance, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to just fucking making your place how you want it to be for yourself.
Yeah.
Now, my place is for myself, but I
Yeah.
can't deny that thought went through my head as I was choosing between futon or bed.
Well, I had a water bed for a little while, and I thought, oh, this is going to be great to fuck on. It's a water bed, right?
No.
It's not. And if you lose the heating pad, it just becomes a fucking cold bubble of water that you're laying on.
Well, and if it leaks, it
Yeah.
smells weird, and it's just,
Yeah,
who wants all that gross water? And
No, seriously, I don't know why I mean, I got it for, I basically got it for $15 worth of weed. No, the other way around. I got it from somebody whose parents were getting rid of it. And then, fucking Tweaker Ray, not Tweaker Tony, Tweaker Ray, came over to my house and I was taking it apart and he's like, dude, can I have that waterbed? I was like, sure. Yeah, how about an eighth of weed or whatever, And he gave me an eighth of weed for it. Then my buddy Bob showed up at the house and said, "Hey, I saw Ray like on the freeway, and it looked like he had your fucking bed on the roof of his car, but that it had fallen off. Like he'd taken the whole water bed. It was just on the top of like some kind of sedan." You know, he had little racks on it, had the sedan, but it was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 feet tall, and he had it all, he was all so proud, he had tied it all with one knot, and then fucking gets down the freeway, and it all fell apart, and he was just basically cutting it loose and then driving away. He was just leaving it on the side of the freeway, because he's Tweaker Ray.
it became too much trouble to transport.
Yeah, and he just fucking left it on the side of the fucking freeway. It must have just, like, it must have lost its integrity, and he pulled over and then just liberated himself from the mass. So, you know, it was nice to have him get rid of it for me.
Well, look at this. Doesn't this look like it would be like a river?
That's what it
Riverbed?
was. We talked to that woman. She said it used to have water flowing down it. We were editing the other day.
Well, when? Is it going to get water flowing down again when it starts raining?
Probably. It's probably a irrigation control at this point.
All right, we're coming off the dirt.
But, yeah, the floor is good. Oh, yeah, so I had the waterbed to design it. So the other day when I was expecting a visitor to my room, my friend Nicole was there helping clean up Dan's room. And I asked her, I said, oh, how's it look if I'm having a guest come over? And she's like, oh yeah, it looks pretty good. Except the only thing I had was the deflated Max head was kind of just sitting on a table. I just hadn't put it in a spot yet. And she said, but get rid of that. the stabbed, deflated Max head was,
It's definitely a tale worth recounting at some point.
at some point. But I have a clown show coming up. What time did we agree to with Rich on Saturday? 6:30. Yep.
Sounds about right.
So my show's at noon. But
I'm still up for turning the mushroom journey of stabbing Max into some kind of two-man act.
oh yeah, oh for sure. But I'm
Finding
going
a way to do that.
I'm going to take the mask with me to this clown show and see if there's something I can do with it. Just
Well, there's always something you can do with it.
yeah, just some kind of practice, some kind of like explore that energy. But yeah, that was the one thing she said, you should not have this. But because I have my antler in there and a weird gnome doll.
So the Max head was that you shouldn't have this?
Yeah, the Max head
That's
was
where the line
the
was
one
drawn?
the one edit she made.
But there's so much history in that Max head, though.
Oh yeah, it's going in part of it's going in my performance kit. It's going to be like
That's how I justify having all kinds of crap around my house. I'm like, well, who knows when I'm going to need it for
the act.
become your own prop house.
Yeah, for the act. For sure.
You can always turn it into art.
Yeah.
Recontextualize it, turn it into art.
Well, yeah, but again, like
Every object is not just what it is. It's all about repurposing.
yeah. That's why I have all those weird things. The thing that the corkscrew wine opener, the rusty one we found out that's just sitting on a table, and it's a piece of rusty art, but it's like we found it on our walk, and now it has more meaning to it. And obviously the antler, and then we have our sport ball museum is growing. The doll I found on the hike is still in the back of my car. It's all these artifacts, all these clues of how my life was lived. You can go through and be like, there's an artifact.
Although in many ways it's clues about how other people's lives were lived because we're scavenging these things.
Yeah.
I mean, it becomes your life because you're the one collecting it. But I'm saying that whatever you could infer about the story of how that doll got to be in the condition it was in, that wasn't because you did something to it. Mm-hmm. You simply found it on its journey and then started a new chapter of that journey.
How's it going? Good.
Barney's enjoying the grass.
That's a very, very smart dog. Finding the shade in the grass. Right, buddy?
A roll in the hay. Hey, Barney. Hey, Barney. Hey, Barney. Hey, Barney. Oh, you got some lipstick?
Or
Chapstick.
lip shine. Lip shine. Victoria's Secret. Naughty. Yeah, I can't wear makeup. It's also the same reason I don't like lotions or creams.
Touching your skin?
Touching my skin.
Sounds like some bees.
Yeah, there's a tree on the Betty Deering, Nancy Hoover pole hike that just is like full of bees. It's kind of amazing.
So are you going to be spending any time with Dan's brother? Or if not time, then just are you going to be in the same proximity? And
yeah, he's going to either come by
be in your place, or where's he
he's going
staying?
to either come by today or tomorrow. I gave him George's number if he wants to go by right now. Ooh.
Wow, good catch.
Yeah.
You almost lost a rechargeable battery.
No! Look at that happy dog. Such a good kid. I got very, very lucky. Oh, that guy. I mean, you know, we can invade, we could raid the police training center now.
Sure could. Think they've shot all their bullets yet?
They've got to. They shot a lot of bullets. I think they've got to be completely out of bullets at this point. So I got a crazy text at the beginning of the shelter in place from my guy, the guy that I get things from, and he's like, "I got bullets." I was like, "Okay." I mean, he's thinking ahead. He's got a plan.
There's the blue line.
Yep.
Burbank.
So do you think if you just
But
went
they
in
use recycled water, though, so...
Yeah. Do you think if you just went in there and you said, I'm authorized. Yeah, I don't know, I'm authorized. I'm authorized to be here. Sir, please, I'm authorized to be here. Do you think they would accept that as as enough authorization? Don't go in there, Barney, you're not authorized.
Maybe some low-level person might be like, they'd call a superior, but eventually they'd be like, they'd want to see your proof, right?
Yeah, but what's the proof?
Well, I don't know, but surely they have some, right?
Yeah, well, like I could be like, oh, yeah, let me get the email.
I mean, they may just say something like, well, what's your authorization number?
Well, I'm sorry, I can't find the email, but...
All right, well, you're just going to have to wait here.
Okay, fine. I mean, that is typically what they do. It's just like, just wait here until we can figure it out. But I mean, the reason the Jedi mind trick works is because the people that are attracted to law enforcement. What did Ben Kenobi say?
These aren't the droids you're looking for?
No, but he's like, how did that work? He said they have weak minds or something like that.
Something like that. I mean, it would work to a point. See, I think that in order to do that, it would help if you were dressed a little nicer.
Oh, sure, for sure.
And if you were flanked by two very large guys that looked very official.
Oh, sure.
You know, if you have if you're rolling with a posse, it lends credence. There's other things you can do.
Well, I think the other thing you could do is you could go in looking like a nerd that's coming in to do some IT work.
Sure, yeah.
You know, that's definitely a very common social engineering. I would say you being in costume. What did Nolan say about him walking in as Jesus to some event and nobody stopped him? I've seen my buddy BJ just fucking gate crash so many places just because he looks a certain way. He gives off a certain like energy.
Well, they might just think, oh, this is a crazy guy. I don't want to deal with him.
How's it going?
Right?
Yeah. Oh, there might be that.
Thank you.
Ding. There's probably a little bit of that, but I also think that if you give off an energy of either belonging or like even some kind of celebrity, sometimes people will not. And being white definitely helps. I used to get a lot of anxiety hanging out with BJ when he would try to crash gates. And I know my anxiety was evident to the people that were going to try to stop me, and it would encourage them to stop me. Like, I think a lot of times when I got tickets from cops is because there's something in my energy that was just like, fuck it, I'm going to just give this guy a fucking ticket. Where now I give them an energy of, you don't want to give me a ticket. This is going to be problematic.
Well, you're welcome to try. As always, put it to the test. Walk in there. Say you're authorized. See what happens.
Oof. I mean, the part of it is the scary part. Well, the first part of it is like, I just don't want to hang out with cops. I have no mission there. I mean, if we were recording some kind of sketch.
Well, Doug Stanhope says it's only funny if you do it.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just an idea.
It is just an idea.
How far could I get?
Well, I mean, I could just put on my fucking volunteer sheriff's shirt. And,
that'll definitely get you some credence.
Yeah.
Well, how about go in there and say, oh, yeah, I'm one of the practice targets?
Oof. Woo. I mean, at least they would get a chuckle out of that. At least you could feel like you were... at least you could feel like you were kind of in on... They could be in on the joke with you.
I thought you were going to say, approach, and then say that you want to join the police force.
Yeah. Is this where I sign up?
And then they say... I mean, I don't know, maybe for a center like that, maybe they do bring you into an office. Huh? I was trying to think of it more like you want to become a monk or something. You show up and they turn you away and you have to come back 3 times. Like, no, you need to fill out the paperwork and do the thing. You're just like, no. You're just kneeling there, head pressed into the pavement, just being like, take me.
This is definitely a cop. Hold on. This is definitely a cop. Because he's driving, well, maybe not. They're just driving so aggressively through here. Like, why is that necessary?
Well, there's certain things that we know we're going to talk about when we come here. One of them is the police. I mean, we talk about the police often anyway, but
yeah,
because the training center is here, it comes up.
And, you know, I saw a look in your eye when I was like, oh, those are gunshots originally when I said it. There's you gotta
through my sunglasses?
Just a look on your face. Just a look of just like, huh? And I was like, oh, yeah, the cop. They're doing it's over the cop thing. Them cops shooting things. Yeah, you fired a gun.
Weird.
But it made
that machine was making water noises. Yeah, I fired a gun a handful of times. Done a shotgun, rifle, bow and arrow.
Yeah, I definitely want to go out shooting sometime. I want to purchase a gun, but mostly
gun.
But mostly I want to get like a 22, something very just like not manly, you know what I mean? Just like a very low caliber, just to have something, you know.
Well, that's up to you, my friend.
Yeah. Just to be, and also like just like it's like an easy gun that I could just go out and shoot like hundreds of bullets and it doesn't really cost me that much money. Because that's the thing, that there's some of these guns that it's like $2 or $3 per round.
Ugh.
Yeah. To me, that looks like this is like the scam of like you're just going to need more firepower. Yeah, you're going to basically sell more expensive bullets. But if I just get a 22.
Another BMW, this time a black one.
Yeah. Or plum, purple.
Oh, never mind. That's not a BMW. I'm not good with cars.
But yeah, I just want a gun that I could just
Because I'm not good with guns either.
shoot hundreds of rounds, and just pop it up, pop, like rather than get a. My friend has a.
But you got to spend time getting good at it, right?
Yeah, that's
get good at it on the cheap.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. If I get something that's super low caliber, I think if I go to a gun store, I'm just going to be like, give me the gun that uses the cheapest bullets.
And then they try and upsell you. What do you do? Well, that's not really going to protect you,
Then I'll be like, look, I'm a pussy. Well,
give me the staple gun.
Well, these cards that we made.
Yes. Oh, they got soaked?
I melted the fucking words off of them in my pocket. I should have had it in,
Yeah, mine seemed to be all right.
Yeah, you didn't sweat as much as me. I only brought a few.
Was it like... What happened?
It's
just they got soaked from your sweat.
From my sweat, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And there's part of me
Let me get a picture of those.
There's part of me that wanted to stick it in the bag, but there's like the bag sometimes gets a little water in it. And I was like, well, maybe in my pocket. And then I didn't even think about them until just now.
Hey, you live, you learn. Show me those business cards, Sean.
Guys, at Mindwalk Pod.
Here, let's get out of the shade. I'll get a better one with some light. Here we go. Here, step out. Here we go. Yeah. It looks like almost like a birthday cake or something.
Yeah.
Weird colors, man.
Yeah. You're talking about drugs.
The THC.
I know it smells like drugs.
I was going to say it took us half the amount of time to get down. But really, we still haven't gotten all the way down.
Not all the way, but we're almost. But we could talk about formatting later. Blop, blop. There's a podcast called Waiting on Reparations.
Uh-huh.
There's two hip-hop. One's a politician in Atlanta called Lingua Franca, and she's also a rapper. And then I can't remember.
It's got to be a stage name, right?
Yeah, I can't remember. They mentioned their real names and their roommates, and she's also a politician, and he is a rapper, and he does something else. He's worked in special education, and they just do these deep dives on kind of politics and rap. And they did a whole episode on Trump in rap songs.
Oh, I think I've heard some of that.
Yeah. And,
I might have heard a rap song that was just called Fuck Trump.
Yeah, there's Fuck Donald Trump. Yeah. It's pretty good. It's
fun to hear an NPR piece on that.
Yeah, and maybe they were kind of referring to this podcast, or the podcast did the research for them, and then NPR just did a story. It's interesting how a lot of kind of the first mentions of Donald Trump in rap songs were who's this fucking clown kind of thing, this guy's an idiot.
Well, there's a mention of Donald Trump in a song by The Coup, where it's it's sort of like a story where there's a guy and he's on the street, he's hustling on the street. One of the members of the coup is hustling on the street, and then ends up in a some rich tower of the wealthy, and sort of ends up being like, oh, here, carry this plate that's got these hors d'oeuvres on it, like blend in, just like whatever, like we're gonna hustle these people, but like, and then it blends into overhearing the conversation of the super wealthy, and then the super wealthy start rapping about their wealth and their power, and there's one on like it's like, are you ready? I'm JP Getty, and like stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah.
this. And then Trump comes in at the end, and he like puts on sort of like one of those. It's like Trump, like that kind of attitude, and like he's okay, sort of like a Jamaican rapper for no reason, even though he's Donald Trump, and. Yeah, it's like a lampoon.
Oh, yeah.
So
it starts, the history starts off from being like, this guy...
sorry, hold on.
Yeah.
Even in that... So, yeah, they do, like, JP Getty, and they do someone else. I forget who. But then, in between each verse, as they're passing the mic around, there's a little bit like, oh, that was marvelous, Mr. Getty. And like,
oh, yeah,
right?
yeah. Gotcha.
And that kind of thing. And then during that, it's like, oh, no, look away. Oh, who's that coming over here? So don't pay any attention to him. And then it's like, hey, guys. It's like, oh, hello, Donald. So even within the context of the rich assholes, still
they were
extra shame, extra shade on Trump.
Yeah. So they start out like the first couple mentions of him are like he's a clown and who this guy is. Then people are like, I want to be rich like Trump.
Yeah.
Then now the current iteration is Trump's a racist or fuck Donald Trump. So it's like this.
Well, yeah, Trump is got a big chain, right?
Yeah.
His chain is on his building, a giant golden T.
Oh yeah.
He's just balling.
Well, they were speculating on this podcast like how much of it was him like taking on the kind of the modality of these kind of like ostentatious kind of rap god, kind of like playing that part. And then, but then also obviously at his core still being a racist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's also taking on the part of just kings and queens of not so old. He wants his own palace, gold everywhere.
It just amazes me that a man of such mediocre talent, looks, acumen, he was just like somehow was able to fucking just back his way into the fucking biggest office, the biggest job in the world.
Well, he did what you were talking about, Sean.
Yeah.
I'm authorized.
Yeah.
I mean, basically it was the power of the bluster. I mean, it helped that he had
some money.
Fancy name and some money and a family history and sort of all that shit. That obviously helps tremendously. But, if you bluster for long enough and it becomes your brand. So, yeah, the evolution of Trump in rap makes sense to me.
Thanks for joining us. This has been a pretty amazing mind walk. If you want to go on your own mind walk, that would be awesome.
Subscribe to the Mind Walk Podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow us on social media at MindWalkPod and support us on Patreon.
Yeah, come and be on our Mindwalk Pod Patreon page, and you get all of it for $10 a month,
or just $5 a month if you want 3 episodes, or
$1.99 and you get nothing.